Alrighty, we are live on the internet.
Hello, hello. You are listening to the Goggler podcast. Ian Bahir and Uma with you this week. We got some big shows. We got The Witcher season 2 on Netflix. We got Spider-Man No Way Home. Lots of cool reviews coming your way. But first,
No
boys,
spoilers. There will be no spoilering on this show.
for neither The Witcher nor Spider-Man No Way Home.
Right, yeah. And also, if you are watching us live, comment down below if you have any questions, and we'll try and get to them later on.
And how have you guys been? Are you guys all ready for Christmas? Done all your shopping? Got the tree up? Done some presents? What's going on?
I got my tree up. It's all good. I got some
Nice.
presents.
We got a tree up a week ago.
Nice.
I'm always a little concerned about doing it too early.
It's
I don't know
December.
what the
Once
right
it's December,
timeline is.
it's fine. I've seen people do it in November, but
I've
the
I've,
trees-
I've gotten the lecture from the Catholic in the family. Apparently, you're only supposed to do it on the first day of Advent or after. So, yes, that's usually like
Which is what?
it can be sometimes
or
it's the
something?
Sunday before the 1st of December. So
Right.
this year it was like the Sunday the 29th or 30th. I can't remember.
yeah. Well, to be honest,
Okay.
there's no Christmas trees in the Bible, so
That is exactly what I said. I was like, how about the fact that it was a pagan ritual?
yeah,
Hey, don't do it for the Muslim here, okay?
Yeah.
It's
How
a
about
it's
the
a,
fact that Jesus was most likely,
Hey,
born in July?
shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. This Muslim here loves Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, out of all three of us, you probably were the first one to get the turkey. Pre-order the turkey. Yeah, I think so.
Yes. There's a turkey coming, which I'm pretty looking forward to. There's a roast lamb, some chocolate log coming. I'm good.
Oh, a chocolate log too.
we got a
Yeah,
chocolate
bro.
log delivered from a friend yesterday, and it was like, you'll love it.
Ew.
But I don't know whether I usually have a reminder in my phone to like sort out the Christmas presents, and the week later goes, no, seriously, sort out the Christmas presents. And I don't know whether Amazon's delivery time is getting better or
Right.
I'm just like giving myself over to the time it requires to select presents for your family.
Yeah.
It just
It's been pretty good actually. I have to say, despite the global logistic, Amazon's delivery time has been pretty good. Even stuff that because I was sending presents to my sister and brother-in-law in the UK, and I just use Amazon UK because shipping anything from here just costs a fortune right now.
yeah.
And it like literally got there like, oh, you ordered it at 9 a.m. UK time. Would you like it delivered at 1? I'm like,
Yeah.
Sure.
I guess.
I mean, I do have Prime membership because my account is from the UK for watching The Expanse.
Right.
Yeah.
It's literally just for watching The Expanse. But even with that, there was still like, we can deliver all this by the 13th of December, and I was like, really?
Can
Wow.
you?
Did I?
Yeah.
Was I just so callow prior to this that I didn't have my shit together enough to actually just sit down and do it?
Yep, raising my
Maybe.
hand. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk stuff. Let's talk trailers. There's a whole bunch of trailers out, which surprised us this week. First up, this one we heard about a while ago, but we finally got to see a trailer for it. It's The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, which is the brand new Nicolas Cage, in which Nicolas Cage plays Nick Cage in a movie about Nick Cage. Woo! You knew this kind of movieception was about to happen with Nick Cage. John Malkovich, eat your fucking heart out.
I mean, the John Malkovich one, it's going to be it's different movies, right? This is going to be Nick Cage at 11, acting as an actor called Nick Cage running at 13. So
Yeah,
it's
that is
gonna
pretty much
be
what
yeah.
the trailer looks like.
this is going to be all Nick Cage all the time.
Well, I was caught up by a couple of surprises. One was, we know, if you don't know, like, there is an element of this where there's past versions of Cage's performances are involved in this movie. They
Yeah.
kept that very subtle. You can barely see it. It's not given away in this at all. This just
Yeah.
looks like Nick Cage parties with Javi brackets Pedro Pascal, and things get wild. It literally just looks like,
Yeah.
I guess, get him to the Greek for Nick Cage, right?
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. Essentially, the plot line sounds like that. Pedro Pascal's a massive fan. Wants Nick Cage at his birthday party. Is willing to pay him $1 million, so he gets him over.
Yeah.
And Nick Cage looks like he's waiting for his next big break. or as Neil Patrick Harris said, not that you went anywhere,
Yeah.
and agrees to go to this party, and then you just see them
Partying.
get
You're
up
getting
to all
wasted.
kinds of crazy hijinks, right?
I can't lift you up. You're too heavy. I have got a massive head. It's the funniest line I've heard so far.
Yeah,
That's it.
no,
That's it.
actually, also have you seen Croods 2? No, I'm over 40.
Yeah.
I've seen Face Off. I don't need to fucking see Croods 2.
That was great. I love that line. Yeah.
Yeah, that is all of us.
Yeah. I haven't seen Cruise 1 yet. I think I had. I mean, every time one comes, I like to watch the Cruise movies come up. It's like, oh yeah, I should watch the previous one so we can review. Oh, it's gone already. Oh, never mind.
He did a lot this last couple months.
Who? Nick Cage?
Right? Nick Cage. There were a lot that just sort of randomly kept
This
popping
year,
up.
I think
Yeah.
there were
They
4
weren't-
movies.
yeah.
They weren't randomly. He's making choices by here. That's what Nick Cage
That's
does. He
He
chose
does,
to
yeah.
do Pig. I did hear about. I haven't watched Ghost of something land. Something of
Yes,
Ghostland.
I haven't seen that either.
Warriors of Ghostland. Something of Ghostland. It's of Ghostland, not Ghost of. Anywho, didn't see that one. Didn't hear that was so good. Pig's supposed to be great, but just been waiting for it to appear on a nice streaming service here.
Yeah. Pig will most likely end up on movie. I have a feeling.
You think so? It,
You think so?
it might pair
It
perfectly
feels like
with
the kind of movie.
First Cow or other
Or
movies
Lamb.
like that. Lamb.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, I'm looking forward to this. This one looks fantastic. Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. You should definitely check out the trailer. I really hope it comes to cinemas here. It just seems wild, and I would like to watch it
Yeah.
on the big screen with other people.
Yes.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
wild is a great description of that trailer. I think it's wild and fun and zany. And you know what? I hope there isn't some. I hope there isn't a storyline. You know what I mean? Like, I hope there isn't like a thing where he has to help Pedro Pascal's character evade or run from a different gang or something. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want it to suddenly have a story. I just want to watch Pedro Pascal.
You just want it to be a big long sketch.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
want these two guys to just get stoned and do things.
Another trailer that just dropped was for the Michelle Yeoh movie from A24. Man, let me tell you,
yeah.
A24 has got range. They're doing sci-fi shit too. It's called Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's also, well, just might as well be Michelle Yeoh and the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
It's directed by Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert, and it stars Michelle Yeoh, Jamie Lee Curtis. I don't know what it's about. All I know is that Michelle Yeoh seems to be traversing time and space and kicking ass while she does it.
Yeah.
It seems like a Grant Morrison concept came to life. When I was rewatching the trailer just before this, because it's the idea of it looks like she has a Bluetooth headset on that allows her to pull from the other universes out there. Because did you notice she pops her headphones and then it's like she's doing a pizza board spinner and then she pops it again and she's doing something else. So that seems to be part of it. Did you also miss out on who's starring in this? Did you see who plays her husband?
No, I missed that.
It's the guy who says, "I'm your husband, but I'm not your husband. I'm from multiverse. And I'm looking to help things."
That's familiar.
That's Kei Kwan from Data from the Goonies and Short Round from Indiana Jones.
Oh my god!
Man, that's
Amazing!
right. I was like, this guy looks so familiar. Where have I
I thought it was him, so then I went and looked at IMDb and it's definitely him.
right.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Although Sausage
'Cause it
Fingers
sounded-
Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah, Sausage
That's
Fingers
crazy.
sounds
Sorry,
great as
you
well.
just put that. You just
I
put
know.
that picture
I just
out,
realized I
was like,
didn't. There's no.
that's-
I couldn't get a picture of Kei Kwan, but the
Yeah.
moment I heard his voice and him kind of screaming at her, I was like, "Short Round."
That's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Thank you for the. Yeah, this is just Obi-Wan, my hero over there.
Am I right in thinking that this one was screened recently at?
was it?
Is it shot? Is it South by Southwest? Is that going on now? I don't know.
I didn't
because
hear.
I saw some news drop about the movie before we saw the trailer for it, so I
Oh.
wasn't sure if people had actually seen it. Right?
Yeah. No, I don't know, but it just looks wacky and wild, and it has that. It has the same vibe of Sorry to Bother You, or
Yes.
I still haven't watched John Dies at the End, but it's that thing where, or what's the one, Safety Not Guaranteed? I still haven't watched that either, but they have that vibe of those trailers where it's like we're doing a science fiction concept, or Palm Springs.
Yeah.
Palm Springs.
Oh, Palm Springs, yeah.
Yeah, we're doing a science fiction concept, but the science fiction concept is like more than just Luke has daddy issues. They're actually doing
Yeah.
like it's more grounded than that in in like the same way that Andy Samberg had issues dealing with his life until he came out of his time loop. I think there's more going. I think it's more that kind of emotional weight is going on here than just cool martial arts flick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for the whole A24 indie style production, the visual effects in the trailer look fucking amazing.
Yeah, I don't know where you're getting. I mean, is A24? Who's the celebrity involved in that? There is celebrities involved, isn't there?
I think somebody. Yeah, hang on, let me check. Somebody
I can't
owns
remember
it.
who's in.
I remember we
I
did
can't
this
remember
once.
who's.
Plan B is Brad Pitt, right?
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
George Clooney's production company? But the point is, when you say they have range, while they have range, when you line up all their movies together, you're like, well, that makes sense, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
There's range to it, but there's also, there's a stamp you can see. They did
they've
Lamb
got
as
the
well,
best-
right?
Yeah. I don't know.
I think they did Lamb.
Yes, they did Lamb. They did
Yeah.
Lamb.
Right.
They did Green Knight. They've got this one.
Do you know what the brand is? The brand is quality.
Hey.
That just seeps off the page, I guess. That's what it seems like.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I think
they're
I think
very-
no, but I think, yeah, there's
They're very discerning,
Yeah.
and
yes.
But they also know trends, and they know that everyone fucking loves googly eyes, and they are all over this trailer.
the googly eyes thing. It's so random and so fantastic at the same
Yeah.
time. They keep getting slapped on everything.
It's not random. You must have seen for years now. People have been taking pictures of bins with googly eyes on
The
them.
big googly eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You put googly eyes on a pair of googly eyes on anything, and it looks like a Muppet. It looks like you've just walked up to Sesame Street.
Yeah.
Mm.
But this seems to be going somewhere even cooler than that.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a thing for that, right? I don't
Because it's
think
in the
just
logo. The A24 logo is
That's
covered
true.
in googly eyes,
Yes,
and they're
yes,
falling
yes.
at the end.
That was disturbing.
That was too many
Something
eyes.
about that just made me weird. Yeah, it just weirded me out.
That was
Yeah,
wandering down to Spider Town. We were like, too many eyes, don't like it.
Yeah.
People got weirded out by 3 cameras on the
Yeah.
iPhone. Ah. Imagine
Well,
when they watch this movie, what happens?
it's okay.
yeah,
People who get affected by that won't watch this movie.
Mm.
I have to say though, I think, releasing a movie like this now, the word multiverse has become a lot more popular
Yeah.
thanks to Marvel, and releasing a movie like this now probably will result in a greater reach because I think there's a lot less to explain. Like, my mom knows what the multiverse is, and that's saying something. 'Cause, she watched Loki, so she gets the multiverse.
Your mum
Yeah,
was looking.
your mom's on it now, right? Yeah.
So
I
she's
did-
done it, right? And
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah,
a
yeah.
word. It's not a word that would have been in her vocabulary 2 years ago. I mean, she
But-
reads a lot, but she doesn't read science fiction. So, yeah,
I mean, there's a lot less heavy lifting that any show in the future
Correct.
about multiverse stuff have to do, right? It's in the lexicon. People know it now.
I wondered, is your mum's version of multiverse, or science fiction, is she thinking of like, Isaac Asimov and those squares? You know what I mean?
the more philosophical stuff, right? Yeah.
Right.
But it
To
is.
be fair, I think apart from the ass kicking that Michelle Yeoh does in this movie, I think it is going to lean in into the philosophical from what it's.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like it's the framework to hang the story on, the hero's
Yeah.
journey on, or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
And the other thing is that, the movies are just now where comics were in the 60s, 70s, where, you talk about Earth 2 to, random man on the street in 1979 or whatever, and he's like, I don't know, you get away from me. But you talk about it now, and everyone's like, okay, like I can grok the concept of an Earth 2. A multiverse is fine. And then you say, is the multiverse science fiction? It's like, no. It's just like, it's heroes. That's what it is. You know what I mean?
It's a thing, right? Exactly. It's just part of our literature now. So I guess we
Yeah.
did it that way. Yeah.
The other thing that wilded me out in this trailer was the Jamie Lee Curtis's look.
Yes.
This is
It
cool.
took me a hot minute
Yeah.
to figure out that it was her.
Yeah.
I was just like, what?
Yeah.
Oh, and also James Hong is in this. He's in the trailer for 1 second, and it's just like he's fantastic in everything he does.
Yeah.
Um,
Do the Russo brothers have anything to do with this movie?
I don't know why.
No, the only reason
That's
I ask
a
is because
random question.
no, because I think they do. I think they're producers because on their Instagram page yesterday when the trailer dropped, they kind of shared something and they went, "Love the Daniels, really proud of this one."
Right.
Yeah. So
Well, maybe this will work with them in the
I'm
past.
just checking. Oh wait, yep, they're producers.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Just checking on the Wikipedia page.
Yeah, because the
so-
director goes by just Daniels.
The
Yes,
Daniels.
it's two Daniels, right?
Oh, I know, but it just says that the movie. It says like a film from, and they've got their own logo. It just says Daniels.
Yeah. Because they've got a bunch of stuff like in the works, right? They got the Gray Man, which is the big everyone is in that movie, right? It's got Ryan Gosling, Chris Evans, Ana de Armas, all of
Is
those
that a
people.
spy thing or?
That's
I
a
mean,
spy thing. And
they
then
they also do. They've also got the Tragedy of Macbeth on
yeah,
Apple TV. That's
oh no, that's Coen
A24.
Brothers. That's not Russo's.
Oh no,
That's,
you're talking about the
oh
directors. Oh, sorry, I
oh
thought
yeah,
it
yeah,
was
but the
on
producers,
A24.
yeah.
Oh,
And then they got,
the Daniels did Macbeth.
No, that's Joe Cohen. I thought we were talking about A24.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
yeah,
my
and
bad.
then the Russos also have Extraction 2 and this one, Everything Everywhere All at Once. So they're working on a bunch of stuff, and I think they were asked at the Spider-Man premiere. I think it was comicbook.com. Asked them, oh, so when Secret Wars happening? And I can't remember if it was Anthony or Joe Russo. They're like Ant and Dec. I can't figure out which one is which. But they were just like, oh yeah. They were like, oh, I guess we have to see. And then he goes, oh, I hear you're in talks. And he just goes, and he does this face, and then he goes, I had to ask, right? And
There's an M-shaped laser sight just kind of moves up his shirt. I'm like, uh-oh.
yeah. And he just gave a, oh, we love working with them. We love to work with them, and gave him kind of answer. And I'm just like, man,
Right.
if you guys fucking do Secret Wars, that'll be huge.
That'd be crazy,
But yeah. So I mean, Everything Everywhere All at Once. The Michelle Renaissance continues.
No, please don't call it that. Try again later.
Also,
Try
she
again.
never went. She's went away. It's just higher profile now. She's always been working.
No, but she has. But she's done a lot of garbage before.
I know, but she never did a raft of rom-coms where she leaned on the other actor in the posters like Matthew McConaughey did. Like his reconnaissance was like skipping around the corner of a black hole, where the gravity of his own terribleness was going to crush him to death until he got in a Lincoln and said, all right, and then everything took off from there. So she's not been, it's been a steady.
No, but it's been. I think she's been steadily working, but she's only gotten these huge. Like after her Bond outing, she didn't get any big Hollywood roles.
No.
But now she's become a household name in America. It only happened after she was 53.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty cool.
Just
Like
cool,
it was, it was Star Trek. It was, and then Marvel, and then like
Crazy Rich Asians.
and so. It's nice. It's great.
Oh,
she's getting all this great work.
Don't forget Last Christmas.
She was great in that, though.
She was. I'm seriously considering putting that one on the Christmas list this year. I don't know. We watched it last year because I think it was the first year it appeared on streaming.
Yeah.
I watched it the year before because it came out that year.
Yeah.
Once you get over the obviousness of its title,
right,
it's all right.
I think we all felt that way when you watched it, right?
It should have been called something else, and they shouldn't have had that
Yeah.
fucking song in the trailer.
Yeah. But yeah, check it out. Everything Everywhere All at Once is the trailer. It's by the Daniels. It stars Michelle Yeoh. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to it. But yeah, check out that trailer on YouTube. We'll link to it from our podcast page on the website as well, like we always do. We are going to be talking about The Witcher and Spider-Man No Way Home. But first, we had a little rant about spoilers or no spoilers. It's this weird thing, and the conversation kind of struck up again. It was there when Game of Thrones ended, and there were bad media outlets that, there was literally a headline on USA Today that went, Game of Thrones finale, Bran is king. And I was like, what the fuck kind of
It's been
headline is
there.
that,
No,
right?
it's been there. It's been there for as long as the internet has, and concussive generations come on. It seems like we're dealing with children working in Hollywood in the big, because it's the big outlets. I mean,
it's the big outlets, and that's the problem, right?
Yeah.
And this time, because of that Variety guy and what happened with Eternals, we spoke about it on a few podcasts ago, and he leaked one of the post-credit sequences.
I think that's why we didn't get an Eternals poster. We usually get posters. That screening was very like, here you go.
No posters for you.
Fill this in. Go watch your movie. There was no posters. There's no nothing. It was like.
But from what we understood, it affected the Spider-Man junket screening. So normally, even when we go for junkets, we get to see the whole movie. Then we ask questions, interview the cast, the talent, whatever. But apparently, for this junket screening in the US, and people who attended the interview only watched 40 minutes of the movie, from what we hear.
That has happened before as well, though. They've done some sizzle reel shit like that before. But yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I remember when they did the junket for Blade Runner, they only showed a very little of the movie, but the junket was a few months before, and they
No.
said it wasn't finished.
Yeah.
Right.
So
And
that's why
then
they
don't
didn't
invite
show
me.
it.
In those kind of cases, I'm just going to write about how bad the experience is instead of actually saying anything with the movie.
And so, yeah, I mean, but there is a mindset among, I think, certain journalists, and I've spoken to them about this, American journalists, and they're like, oh, who are these big corporations to tell me what I can and cannot write about? And I'm like, well, that's not the point. The point is, who do you serve? And if you serve your audience, and if the vast majority of your audience want to go into a movie and be genuinely delighted and surprised,
Yeah.
then why the fuck would you spoil the movie for them in your review?
Yeah.
And I think it's a very interesting. I enjoy Mark Kermode. I think he's an excellent film critic, and I think he's always been of the mindset that you can review a movie without spoiling it, and you can review a movie without telling everyone exactly what it's about, because a review doesn't have to be a summary of the goddamn film, which is what a lot of people do.
Yeah, and I think it's also I think in the digital age, it's gotten a little bit more problematic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Worse is what it is.
Problematic. Yeah, worse, yes, but also problematic because it's the clickbaity thing, right? Like,
yeah.
And it's weird because I mean, it's one thing to put it in an article, okay?
Yeah.
Like, for example,
I'm fine with that, because you're clicking through, you have a choice, right? You tell people there are spoilers here.
No, but
if you want, click it and read it.
Yeah.
Right?
Even if you don't say there's a spoiler, right? It's in an article. As you're reading it, you've decided to click the article, and you're sort of taken. It's like playing Russian roulette. Right?
Mistakes were made.
Yeah, but the problem with that Variety guy from Eternals was that he put it out in a tweet.
Yeah.
It was just like, why the fuck would you do that? Like,
it is again, it's the influencer mindset. Like, there is SEO shows us. We have done very responsibly. Spoilers, spoilers are like cocaine. You can do it, but very responsibly.
Yeah, exactly.
Or say maybe morphine. Morphine is the
Oxy.
This is going bad. Bad metaphor. Bad metaphor.
Weird places. Too far.
But the point is, like, SEO is a hell of a drug, and there's an element of every time we do an ending explained. Those are the magic words. You ever see those gifs of those pictures of, like, those articles, those four words that men love to hear or women love to hear?
Yep.
It's like, we've got an ending explained article is what ours is, because if we could do that, our traffic spikes for that. And he did that, and his traffic spiked for that. And I'm sure, but it's a short-term thing, and the thing, you are going to be found out. Remember all those stars on Vine who were doing shit that was like gross pranks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them, like Simon Rex, he wasn't doing pranks, but Simon Rex is in now I forget his name, the guy who did the Florida Project movie.
Right. Yeah.
So he's done well for himself, but he stopped doing that shit and he grew up. And there are people doing that, but when you're in fully employ of Variety or something like that, you need to be aware of these things. We have in the past split out to spoiler reviews and spoiler-free reviews. Some people are looking for that shit. They're just desperate to know. It's the old ain't it cool mindset, right? Which is that, look at this set photo. Do you remember when they were shooting Star Trek Into Darkness, which might have been the last time I ever looked at Ain't It Cool, and the crew were walking to this action scenes in robes, so they wouldn't see what they were wearing?
Yep.
But I still looked at those photos because I wanted to know.
Yeah.
But now we're getting stuff. We're getting stuff on a global basis now. We're not having to wait 3 to 6 months to get movies.
And that's fine. I think you as the person are given the choice to click on that link that says the spoilers included here, ending explained here, photos here, and that's fine. But when you release a tweet, and the problem with Twitter is that for every 3 people who don't like it, there will be 17 idiots who do want that information and are retweeting it, right? When you retweet it, it suddenly becomes one of those trending things. And I don't follow the guy, but it crossed my timeline.
I don't look at trending either, because there's a thing you can go in on the web to your Twitter thing. I think it's under interests or something like that, and it has the things that they're going to recommend to you. And if you untick all of that, it stops recommend. I unticked all that because I wanted to get rid of those recent tweets by thing. And when I went back to my trending,
that's the worst.
My trending thing, because I have multiple accounts, and one when I look, it's like, you got 8 notifications. Like, oh, my other podcast got popular all of a sudden for no reason. No, it's just recent tweets by people I already follow. But by undoing that, when I look at my trending page, it's broken. Like you talked about something trending. Mine is like someone's birthday. Marvel is always trending, so that's now just
Yes.
static.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem. It's when there's a like the Eternals. It was literally minutes after the premiere ended, and I think that's when he tweeted it.
Yeah.
So
And
there were all
this
these
is the
things that were
problem,
just
right?
sort of-
Because
yeah,
no, with something like TikTok, it's even worse because you don't necessarily have to follow anyone. It
No, it's
just
on your For You
sends
page.
you stuff.
It's on
right?
your For You page.
Exactly. But it's not even the For You page, right? Even on the browse page, which most people look and they're just swiping up, that's when you will get spoiled because just say you happen to watch one video that was talking about a Marvel movie from beginning to end, and TikTok goes, "This guy likes Marvel stuff. Let's send him all the Marvel stuff," whether or not you follow anyone.
Yeah.
It's the same with Instagram Reels. I think the algorithm works in the same way. So actually, that choice is taken away from you as well. So with something like Spider-Man: No Way Home, where there is a lot to spoil in this film, that your best bet is to actually stay off social media until you actually watch the film.
Or mute.
There is a chance you will inadvertently be spoiled.
Mute the words 24 hours, mute the hashtag, and anyone you see doing that, unfollow them immediately. And if your friend has retweeted it, unfollow them. They're done. I'm sorry, goodbye.
Yeah. I've already blocked 3 people on Instagram for just being cunts.
What was there something we watched a while ago? We watched something recently, and we didn't know about it at all. It had been ages. It had been quite a while.
Oh, Venom. The post-credit scene wasn't spoiled.
Yeah, I heard people saying,
magic.
"Well, that post-credit scene." No,
Right.
it wasn't magic. It was intentional. I was like only following people who said, "Oh, that's interesting." That post-credit scene.
No, but I was amazed as well because I, on my Instagram page, on the Goggler Instagram page, we follow people like Nerdist and comicbook.com and all that.
I don't follow Nerdist anymore. I do follow Nerdist. Okay, some of the comic book stuff I don't. The ones
and
I don't follow Screen Rant anymore because I
they have
think
an
they burn.
embargo, like a spoiler embargo. And I'm like, who set that fucking date, right? Because it's this weird thing for TV shows. Oh, like for Hawkeye, aired on Wednesday, so by Friday we can post spoilers freely. And I'm just like, what? 2 days?
I haven't watched it yet. Tomorrow's Friday.
Yeah, you haven't watched it yet. Exactly.
No,
it's crazy.
but it's the thing of like and this is where I stumble into having faith in humanity and I walk myself back constantly. Why would you do it? Why would you rob someone of that, right? And sure,
some men just want to watch the world burn.
I want to watch these people burn.
Yeah, no. Why do trolls exist? Why do people pile on?
You're right. I don't understand why trolls exist either. I don't understand
because they're children and they don't realize that this will come back to bite them in the arse. And it seems consequence free on the internet. I can just spin up another sock puppet account and hassle this guy over his opinion. I get I bring it back to the person who when I get a comment on my review and it's like you didn't like it, you obviously had no childhood or something like that. I look at them, it's like there's nothing on there but they're commenting about Kenneth Branagh's Cinderella. I'm thinking of all the things to attach your identity to, Kenneth Branagh's Cinderella is a weird one. This is a real thing that happened. But
that's a weird hill to die on.
But there are see that I think it was Cowboy Bebop. No one appreciates your opinion was the last one I got, and I was like, it's not out yet, dude. Wait till you see it.
Yeah.
I put a X on you. You got to watch it, and then you will see. You will not enjoy it either.
Also, I do this for a living, so people do appreciate my opinion. No one does yours, man.
Yeah. I'm sure your 24 followers love your opinions, but that's not a good argument. That's not the point. Everyone, we all started off at some point like that, but it's the idea of it's the same thing that happens with toxic masculinity and everything all around the place. Identifying too much, putting too much of your personality as I'm a Spider-Man guy.
Yes.
Don't be a Spider-Man guy.
Hey.
Play tennis. Go learn squash. Go outside once in a while. Maybe try some DC if you don't like it that much. But
Look, I like sports, and there's nothing more toxic masculinity. There's nothing more that's drenched in toxic masculinity and tribalism than fucking sports.
Yeah.
Damn right.
But when the bicycle kick gets pulled off, it's.
It's just magic.
Bahi and I were talking about this on the car ride home after Spider-Man, and we were just saying, imagine if Maradona's Hand of God happened today. The tribalism on the internet would be fucking unbearable.
I mean, the tribalism on
it's already unbearable.
Yeah, but it's also regarding.
Did you watch the? Did you? Were you on?
In the ass already.
Sorry, were you on social media on Sunday after the F1?
Oh,
Christ. I saw that. Yeah.
Not a single fucking person could explain exactly what had happened, but I saw so many things about unlapped. People got unlapped. You got unlapped.
Yes.
I don't understand what happened. I have a rough idea. I still don't know what happened, but
It's fine.
there were
What
people on
happened
both
is
sides.
irrelevant because it doesn't matter because there were people on both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. No, but here's the thing, right? Like, it's the why get personal? I never understood that. I
Yeah.
never understood why you don't like
It's the anonymity of the internet, right? Because you wouldn't react like that to someone in person.
Yeah.
But there is a boldness when no one knows who you are,
No,
and you
but
think you can say "fuck you" and get away with it.
No, I get that, but why do? But what satisfaction do you get?
Because I told him. I told him. It's the same as when you egg your head teacher's house. Because that's the people who are doing it. It's kids who are like, fuck that guy. I egged his house. Hey!
It's like you know what, Ian? I told you off of Cinderella, and you know, I've done good by Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah. I mean, again, no, that's totally serious. I'm seeing more and more of it now where people are saying like, there's a, you know, the picture of, is it Apu when he jumps in front of Homer in the Quickie Mart in The Simpsons, and it's like, the Homer is Elon Musk, and in front of him is like Apu it's tagged with like Elon Musk stands, and then the shooter is like valid criticism.
Yeah.
There are, and you can tweet right now. We can probably do a live thing on the show. You can just say Elon Musk is a twat on Twitter, and you will get someone defending him or saying he's done well, and it'll just be like, whatever, you know, that's the way it is. It's like and I see so many people now reply. I don't see that the conversation. I see someone else going at the end saying, Elon Musk is not going to be your friend, buddy. He's not going to give you any money. You know what I mean? It's not.
But you know what? The toxicity of the internet aside, and when it comes to whether it's spoiler culture or whatever, and people are assholes and there are cunts everywhere. That's fine. I can, you know, that's just people.
Can you say
right?
that on YouTube? I think you said it quick enough.
Don't
say it again. Don't say it again.
I think you just can't show any. You can say it. You just can't show it.
As long as you don't tag it for kids, right? Yeah,
that's right. But my problem is when journalists or pseudo journalists and journalistic outlets do it.
Yeah.
And,
# professionals.
Exactly, so-called professionals, right? Because I think there is a service that you provide to the audience, and I just go back to reading the classic movie critics, and you know, whether it's Pauline Kael or whether it's Ebert and Roper or Siskel and Ebert, and you go back and you look at their stuff and you read their articles and you listen to their reviews. And it's very interesting because they can talk about a movie without talking about a movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they can and they can provide valid,
which is what we're going
beautiful criticism, which is what we're going to try and do
for Spider-Man. Watch us walk a tightrope while juggling chainsaws.
Yeah. This thing happens, and then this other thing happens. Yeah, but also as a reader, I don't need that. When I'm reading a review, I don't need to know exactly what happened in the movie. You can set up the plot in 2 lines, and you can say Harry met Sally, and then romantic hijinks ensued. Great, that's all I need to know. Let me watch it myself.
But also, you don't. But the other 6 graphs don't have to be, you know, explain the movie. They can be what they do is masterfully this. What they also do is that, and all this kind of thing happen. And there's a moment where they do this thing with the camera, which is delightful. But anyway.
Yeah.
And I think it's a lack of skill. It's a lack of maybe.
I don't think it is. I think it's unfortunately
laziness.
It's not laziness. It's like they know what they're doing. They're thinking this is getting the clicks, and in this economy, it's got to be the clicks.
Yeah.
You get those clicks, that means ad revenue doubles, triples. What have you got?
Yeah.
Your review of what's the Macbeth movie called? It's the
Tragedy of Macbeth.
The Tragedy of Macbeth. You know, maybe the ending, the Tragedy of Macbeth ending explained article, our week-long set of articles and videos on the Tragedy of Macbeth didn't quite do the numbers for us. So let's just spoil Spider-Man. And it doesn't matter as long as they clicked on that page and they've seen those first 2 ads. We're in book and books. We're done.
Headline. It was Lady Macbeth.
Shit, I haven't seen Macbeth. Was it really?
That's it. I have to say, there are certain things. There are other extremes as well, right? There are real spoiler phobes too.
Yeah.
Who will lose their shit at you for talking about even something on the poster.
Yeah.
And to them, I'm just like, don't read it, don't tune into the podcast.
Yeah.
And I do believe there's a statute of limitations on
a little
spoilers as well.
But you tag it, you put it as a spoiler cast or whatever like that. But I have friends
statute of limitations meaning movies that are 20 and 30 years old.
Admittedly, but there's also like we're going to do a spoiler cast next week for some shit because we need the catharsis.
Oh no, that I think is fine. But I mean, like, I can happily talk to you about The Usual Suspects, Ian, and not I think there's been a statute of limitations on that, right?
Well,
I'm not going to
again,
spoil Empire Strikes
no,
Back.
you brought up you've brought up Kermode and Mayo, and back in 2011, it's the same as this is our show is basically. Remember when South Park did that thing where the Simpsons did it? Did you remember that early South Park? There was a thing about like, how about we do one of the Butters or somebody was trying to figure out like cool things they could do that had never been done before, and every single idea he had, some of the kids said, Simpsons did it. No, not even that had been done before. The Simpsons had done it.
Did it? Yeah.
Every conversation we've had is probably a Kermode and Mayo for.
Oh,
and there was a long discussion about, can I spoil Shakespeare?
Yes.
And the answer was, after fucking 20 years, we're not sure, because there's still people coming on board who haven't seen Shakespeare. I know nothing about the Merchant of Venice except I think it's set in Venice and there's a merchant involved.
Well, no, but you say that, but there are certain things, like for example, Romeo and Juliet, that have become so pervasive that even if you've never.
Oh, I know, but if you literally, if you're 8. Now,
that's different. I would not spoil
until
Empire
Romeo
Strikes Back for a kid. I would not say,
but until,
you know who Darth Vader is to a little kid? No way.
But until Romeo and Juliet are selectable characters in Fortnite, you got to be a little careful. I think just bearing in mind is the cool thing. You just got to think about it.
But also, I think if you're in your 20s and you don't know what happens to Romeo and Juliet, then you've got bigger problems, friend. You need to go read a book.
There's people. There's one podcast I listen to where one guy, it's a bit hard for them because when they're doing the news section, it's like, you got to see this trailer for this movie, and he's like, I'm not watching trailers. I told you this already. And I think my friend at home, he's not watching trailers. Like, have you seen the trailers? Like, I haven't seen the trailers. Like, oh, I keep forgetting that. But he doesn't watch trailers, so he doesn't know.
Well, we didn't. Bahir and I didn't watch the trailer, the latest trailer for Spider-Man: No Way Home.
I only saw the first one. Yeah.
I only saw the first one too. You did.
Because we were on podcast when it dropped, right?
Yeah, yes. But I was surprisingly unspoiled even in the movie. Like there were some things in the trailer that I didn't know about, and I was like, oh, hey.
And that's because the Marvel team, and we'll get to that in the thing later, the Marvel marketing team is as on their game as the Marvel story team. And that's something that we'll talk about next week, I think, when it comes to the Kingsman as well. Because, wow, there are things in that movie you're not going to see.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Nice. All right. But let's get to stuff. But basically, the message is don't be a cunt, don't spoil things, right?
Will Wheaton said it best. Don't be a jerk, don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
Yeah.
All right, let's kick things off with The Witcher, which is coming into its second season now on Netflix. The first season ended last year. There was an animated special, and then now we get to see Henry Cavill again as Geralt of Rivia. He's back, and this series does away with the timey-wimey stuff and picks up almost immediately after the end of the last episode of season 1, which I have to say I am immensely thankful for. Because I like.
Okay,
like is a strong word. I was okay with season 1.
Yeah.
Once we figured out what was going on, we were all messaging each other. This is very early. Was it last year? Or was it the year before?
It was last year. A year before. December of.
It was early. It was early. It was back in the early days of Goggler, and we were all like, "Are you lost? What? What's happening?" And then I was like, wait. When you get to 7, 6, I think it was after 6 or 7, right? We also got like
when they revealed when the timeline sort of caught up with each other. I think is what it is. Yeah.
But it was too much, right? It took too long, and I know a lot of people who dropped off because they couldn't figure out what was going. And I have to say, season 1 had some fun, like really cool things. I thought the stuff with the bard was great. When Yennefer was jumping through portals and shit, that was very, very well done. But there is a linearity to season 2 that I'm really enjoying.
This season sets out what the show is. So before this, it was an adaptation of some books.
Correct.
And have you read the books, Uma?
Only the first one. I couldn't get into it.
I thought we were going to find the first books in the book adaptation Uma hadn't read, but we're so close. We're nearly there.
Well, you got one. You read one.
I got one.
So pretty close.
But friend of the show, my friend Gavin, had read it, and I was talking to him about it, and he did say that it is set like that. Like, it is very much Witcher adventures, and the storyline is threaded between them, that you have to put stuff together for the first stories, I think, as far as I know. And that was interesting, but then they've done that. It was like, well, what's the point, right? Because the Game of Thrones is winter is coming.
Yeah.
The Wheel of Time is there's a wheel and it's covered in time. this Expanse is everyone hates each other. It doesn't matter if we're in space or not. We're still gonna fight with each other the whole fucking time. This
Right.
we it has a propulsiveness to it that's much more than the first season had. It's like it's not just all these threads together. It's like there's The Witcher, there's Ciri, there's Yennefer of the Vengabus, and there's a little bit of Triss as well. But there's also the politics of this world are now moving. Now, in one way, it feels a lot more like Game of Thrones in that it has a direction, even if it's not the same kind of thing.
So that is my apprehension is the word. And I think it's a me problem because everyone seems to fucking love The Witcher. But
Right.
I'm not I don't know why I'm not getting into the politics of it. So there's this thread in the storyline about elven genocide and all of the stuff that's happening. And we were given the first 5 of 8 episodes to watch. And I have to say that I only really started getting into it in episode 5.
Right.
Episode 1 through 3 and 4 was like Jedi training for Ciri.
I like that.
Yeah, it was all right. I wasn't sure what I was watching though.
We also, I don't know if we have to be careful about saying her name in case it sets off people's Apple devices.
Oh no, I didn't mind.
will.
Fine.
Huh?
Did it yours? Did it set yours on?
No, I was,
Only if you say hey before.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
So you're all right.
Okay.
But for some reason, I was invested almost immediately from episode 1 of Game of Thrones. And
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if it has to do with the human drama, because I think that the incest stuff and the backstabbing in Game of Thrones, so
They also had an amazing cast.
It did, but someone was asking me the other day why Squid Game has taken off globally the way it has. Meanwhile, a lot of other K-drama hasn't, right? Why haven't the masses latched on to K-drama in the same way? And I think a lot of it has to do with poverty porn, right? In the sense that Squid Game shows us people being tortured at their worst moments. And Game of Thrones did something similar. It was the backstabbiness. It was the soap opera-ness of it.
Yeah, but none of that first episode had it. That first episode had good-looking people covered in shit, understandable, relatable. They had relatable issues to deal with, and then a hungry guy pushed the small boy. Spoilers for Game of Thrones.
I was just going to say, it
Pushed
had,
the small
it
boy-
had
that-
brother-sister sex, and then
Yeah.
a small boy got pushed over a giant
window.
tower.
I mean,
Pretty fucked up.
if the Nielsen ratings tell us anything, people fucking love incest directly followed by small boys getting pushed out windows.
Exactly. And I think that's what's lacking in The Witcher, that kind of human drama soapiness. Is it?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I can't put my finger on it either.
I can't-
I
and-
don't know. Yeah.
Because let me tell you this. I love this shit. I'm an expert at this shit. From like, no, but seriously, from Wheel of Time to
This
Raceling
should be your jam, right?
I'm really good at all those fucking names too. But I can only remember 4 names in the show.
Like for me, the first season was I think the first season for me was very clearly the problem was there were multiple stories of people I didn't care about. You know, there was the
There seems to be no linking material either of those early stories. Because
Yeah,
we're like,
yeah.
oh, there's
So
what are we following
The King
here?
and
What's going on here?
Queen.
no, but also there's the
Ciri,
Ciri thing
Yennefer.
and her family. Then there's the Yennefer background, and then there's the Geralt thing. And they just kept switching back and forth. I don't know why we're doing this. You know, whereas even when it got heavy in Game of Thrones, there was a reason. They all wanted the Iron Throne. They're doing political machinations in the Spain of Game of Thrones, but they still wanted that one thing, right? They wanted to get military and get on boats and then cross the thing and then fight the guys, and then there's a point. Whereas here, I'm just like, I still don't know why I'm watching this show. I still don't know. You know, it's like.
And here's the thing, everything is good, right? The acting's good,
The
fucking
acting's
production
great,
value's great.
production's good, yeah.
Monsters look
The
a lot
monsters
better
are
than they did in
scary, yeah.
season 1.
No,
I mean,
Because
but the
monsters
monsters were decent enough in season 1, but Nivellen in episode 1, the guy when they go to the Encanto house where it
Yes.
greets them,
Yeah,
he looks fucking great.
yeah,
Yeah.
he
Like,
does.
Also that guy's roommate was awesome when it first showed
Yes,
up.
the way they did that,
Oh.
the way they
Yeah.
moved was, and they
Yeah.
were moving like that in, like, you're like, okay, we've seen that effect
I've seen
before
that
in certain
before,
things.
yeah.
But when they're
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
it in the room in a scene with another actor, you're like, oh, it's
That's
there.
really
That's
cool.
But
pretty
also,
good.
Ian, do you remember, like, I seem to recall that there seemed to be a lot more monsters in daylight in this one, which is why it looks so much better. Like
I don't know. Remember,
I
there was a
think they
goat
were in
man. There was a
darkness
goat
in the
man thing.
first-
No, there was a goat. I think it's better than you thought because there was a goat man
Okay.
at one point that they met when I think he first when Jaskier turned up and they were meeting the elves. I mean,
Okay.
a big problem with the first one was because it was so confusing and we were all like having that light bulb moment when it all came together. But then
Yeah.
it's still like Yennefer was the form body was well done and her transformation was well done. There's a transformation that happens in episode 1 that is kind of cool and kind of obscure shit, but also works. And there's a let's just say a character who gets wood.
Yes.
I thought that was really well organized because there is moments where it's in darkness, there's moments where it's in light, but then there's moments
Yeah.
where it's a Ghostbusters Afterlife terror dog physically,
Yep.
and
Yep.
that all worked really really well. I think what worked for me is that the politics things is not going to matter because one of the things is that these characters they keep getting it. I got this a bit from playing The Witcher 2. I haven't played The Witcher 3. Like you might be able to counteract this. They go into they get trapped in the orbits of kings and queens and all this stuff. But the key to this world is that those things, as much as the world thinks they matter, don't.
Don't.
The decisions
Yeah.
come down to different people. And the other thing is that this is a fallen world. This
Yeah.
is Game of Thrones was what happens after. I think one of the original pitches was what happens after the plucky young stable hand rises up against a corrupt king and marries the princess, right? Because that was Robert
Yes.
Baratheon's storyline, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's like 20 years later, he's a fat fuck and he doesn't deal with his wife properly and everything's going
Correct.
to shit. In this,
The
it's like
waning of the golden years, right?
exactly the golden years in this world on the continent are long gone. Geralt says at one point he's been through a dark age and three end of days. It's all horseshit. And I think
Yeah.
there is something in this. Even the first episode, there's a couple of lines that were there that were just the dialogue sparkles a little bit more.
Yes, for sure.
It feels like
I
it's
think
had
the writing
a
is a
Phoebe
lot better.
Waller-Bridge coding on it, or someone like that has come along.
But also, I think it feels like they aren't. It isn't just Geralt running into new people every week. So I think that helps as well because
Yeah.
he's kind of talking to familiar people, his brothers. You know, he's got a rapport. Even though they don't show you how that rapport came to be, there is a rapport with Vesemir. So you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
this is my mentor, and this is
but
how
even-
I
but
interact
when-
with him.
But and I think what helped was that first meeting as they walked into the Great Hall, right? There's a
And you said, "Oh my god, it looks just like the anime."
yeah.
Yes.
No, but there's a great interaction. There's a great setup between everybody, right? I think that sort of immediately you go, okay, these guys know each other. They go way back. You know, you smell like day old shit. You know, it's great.
No, it's like what is it? I think it's before that. It's like Eureka of old horse. It's part of my charm. Yeah, I've always been a horse's ass. It's like
Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of really great zingers there. But I think for me, in these first five episodes of season 2, I think it was maybe episode 4 that I really felt like in episode 4 suddenly it was like, okay, there's a thing now.
Things are moving.
Not only things are moving, but there's a mission. I think I see a point to this now.
Yeah.
As opposed to just towards the end of that first season, it was, oh, I have to go and do this. I have to be there. I think I have to get here. And then it's, I have to save, no, what was it? I have to save the keep from the mages, or I'm a mage. And it's just like too many things. Whereas here, at the moment, it feels like there's one thing that they're going towards, right? The story feels like there's one thing that they're going towards.
Yeah, and they fill in what the fuck. The Felon, Nilfgaard, is that what it's called? The Kings of the
Nilfgaard,
South. Yeah.
Yeah.
The first season it was just like Nilfgaard is coming. It's like, oh god, what's Nilfgaard? Like I do like that they took a major threat from that and just cut him off at the knees for half the season, and then but they started explaining what Nilfgaard is, and it was like, even again, I don't know how far I am through the Witcher 2. They keep talking about Nilfgaard as a threat, but I have no idea what that means. And
right.
I like they start explaining that. They just seem to they because they don't have to play with the time shit. They can explain more. I also like in the first one, he took his potions and he did little magic things. They never explained the little magic things, right?
Yeah, they didn't.
Nope.
No.
Now he has Ciri on his side. He can explain to her their Witcher signs, which just have limited access to magic, which are all mapped to the Y pad. You just press Y button on your controller, and you can select which one you want to use. And the ones he uses in the thing, it's great. It's like a little shield he has.
And the anime went some way towards explaining some context, history, how the monsters came about, how the witches came about. Yeah, but if you haven't, yeah, actually, to be fair, if you haven't seen the anime, you might be as lost as you were coming into this. I think because we saw the anime, we got a lot more context as to what was
Yeah.
going on. Even later in the episodes, the conversations between Vesemir and Ciri, all of that is very
Yeah.
clear because we saw the anime.
And it's
However-
oh, sorry. Go.
No, I was just gonna say the thing that I'm still getting, the thing that I still have difficulty with is, it still feels like there are these disparate groups of individuals in the show.
Mhm.
Geralt and Ciri, Yennefer, the Bard, they may be going towards a singular goal, but just like in season 1, it feels like they're taking too long to get there.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean,
I don't know what it is, because I think
It feels
I wouldn't
old
have
Netflix.
a problem. It feels like a novel, but in a novel, I think there's a certain expectancy as to how the story should flow.
But
And
is
yes-
this Marvel's era Netflix? Is this like the Daredevil era where it was teased out? Things were teased. Like did we see Wilson Fisk for quite a while in that? I can't remember.
No, but dude, even
But there was
Daredevil,
a lot of things. Those early Netflix shows did seem to be going for 8-9 seasons, right? It felt like that's what they were aiming for, and they didn't get there.
They did, but at least with season 1 of Daredevil and season 1 of Jessica Jones, even there was a complete resolution, right? She defeated the bad guy in
Oh, yeah.
season 1 and moved on, right? Kingpin got his comeuppance at the end of season 1, and they moved on. And meanwhile, at the end of season 1, we wrapped the pilot. Essentially, that's what The Witcher felt like. And
Yeah.
and I think with this as well, I want to see my favorite characters get together and interact.
Yeah.
And I'm not,
And I think
and I'm 5 episodes in, and I'm not getting that. And I think
And I-
there's this one moment in episode 4 when the Bard is having a little fight with army guy, and the army guy is essentially saying all the problems with season
Yes.
1.
Yes, that was
Just
great. I
like-
love
and
that.
yeah,
That
I
was
loved it. And I
great.
was just like,
Yeah.
okay, there's a certain amount of self-awareness on the part of the
Yeah.
writers.
no, but I think that was my. I think I agree with you. There's the first episode. All right, I think it was the second and third episode just felt like it didn't need to be 2 episodes, or maybe no. The second episode was okay, but I think once they got to the Witcher hidey hole, I don't know if I needed to stay there that long.
Hmm.
I think I wonder if they could have moved that a bit, because it wasn't until the end of episode 5 where I go, okay, I know why I'm here now at this hidey hole, right? Because Geralt goes off for a little side quest, and then Ciri gets to find out about her past, and that thing sort of like clicked.
That's
But I
the and
just
that,
felt
that's the goal now. I mean, it's a weird universe, but that's the goal, I think. Or
No,
that's
but
the-
I know, but it's like, did that have to happen in episode 5?
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I think they're a bit in love with some of the stuff with the mages and stuff like that. It's like almost better to keep them at a distance in a way. I mean,
Yeah.
there's an element of, it's not padding, but it feels that way. And also the elves aren't appealing, and maybe that's part of the point. They're not your high fantasy elves. They're just like low shitty fantasy elves, and
Right.
that's
No,
part of the world as well. But
how do you create sympathy for them if they're not appealing, right? Because we're
Yeah.
supposed to feel sympathetic towards their
yeah,
plight.
but even the actor who plays the former leader, like
Falafel.
there doesn't seem like much there. You know what I mean? Like, I can barely remember what Tissaia role was in the first one. She's all about like, oh Yennefer, I'm so sad about things, and I'm like, were you mates in the first season? I don't remember that at all.
no,
But
she was the
Queen bitch.
She was the one teaching them, right?
yeah. But I bought it in this season. You know what I mean? It felt like they sold
Right.
it more. But
Right.
I'm on board because it's a weird fucking world. I mean, even again,
Right.
I've only played bits and pieces of the second one, but I enjoy the fact that there's mutagenic alchemy in this world. There's a conjunction
Yes.
between worlds that brought monsters
Yeah.
here, apparently. Mages are dicks. That's just the way it is. And I like that. And there's rules in place to stop them
Yeah.
being major dicks. But like one of the antagonists was essentially sent there by the mages and is now causing problems for them. And it's like, you did this to yourselves, you moron. Like, I mean, she's not like a rebel who sprung off on her own. It's like, you're gonna go here and tell this guy to calm the fuck down. And she went there and she's like, he doesn't want to calm the fuck down. I'm with him. It's like, okay, fuck, shit. I guess we got screwed up. But
Yeah.
I'm kept on board with Henry Cavill, the girl who plays Siri. I think
Yes.
she's grown up a lot. She's amazing. I think she's able to hold an awful lot of this. When you said earlier about like crap Jedi school, these are hardcore fucking Jedi. These are like what Jedi should have been in the prequels. These guys are, in order to be a monster slaying / Sith slaying badass, you got to go through some shit. It's not like you send it. It's not a mail in fucking correspondence course. This is like you're going to get like, and we got this. I guess again we got this more from the anime. It's like 80% of your graduating class is going to die from the graduation ceremony.
Yes.
Yeah.
And after that, it's only going to get harder.
Yeah.
And I liked that element of it. And also Henry Cavill on the tall poles running around with the sword looked just fucking awesome when he was training in episode 2 or 3.
Yeah. No, I think I'm the same. I think I'm watching it primarily because of Henry Cavill, Siri, and even Yennefer. I think the actress who plays Yennefer is fantastic.
Oh, Yennefer's fantastic, and she's able.
Yeah.
Although I don't know what's going on with the contacts.
I don't know what's going on with everybody's eyes in the
it
show.
says work in progress on our screeners, but there's a certain point where her eyes were just brown or green, and I was like, are her eyes purple? And also, none of the other Witchers have Geralt's really yellow. Like that's the point of Witch is supposed to have. I don't know. I think all Witch is supposed to have that, and I think there's also a slight problem where ever so often, if you're watching on a big computer monitor and you're relatively close to the screen, you can notice that the contacts kind of slide a bit. So while Henry Cavill is intensely acting at the other actor in the scene, one of his eyeballs is kind of drifting off, and he looks like Igor from Young Frankenstein.
I think that's just VFX that needs to be done.
I think it was in the first one as well. But those, the contacts, you gotta like they drift a bit, right? But I'm really enjoying. There's a line he says about like, oh, something was forbidden, and he says like, oh, it was forbidden by mages, then it must never have happened. And I laughed out loud because it was a joke made by Geralt. That idea is like, planets crashing into each other. It seems so out of there. But in order for that joke to work, he had to have a season where his joke was.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah. That's all he did for most of season 1. I think I will. I think I'll probably stick it through I've made my way through 5 episodes, so I might as well watch the last 3 when they drop tomorrow.
And I think there's a development in episode 5, which is I think bringing together the characters you love in an antagonistic way. It's like it's a preview of the Marvel team up that's coming next week, right?
Yeah.
So there's going to be a conflict. There's going to be like a different thing, and I like the Hut thing was cool. But I like where that we still don't know what that is. And there's also a thing of like, this is bad. This is very bad. But these are smart people dealing with bad decisions. Everyone is doing bad decisions in this world. There are no good decisions.
But I go back to what I said about the anime in that I am in no way compelled. If season 3 came out and we weren't reviewing it, I probably wouldn't watch it that Friday at 4 p.m. when it.
I was going to say that.
I think I'm on board. I would.
I'm in no way, but for me, I'm in no way compelled to buy the books and continue reading the next novels or buy the toys, get myself a sword or whatever. I don't know. There's something about
or a hoodie, a mug, a book, a blanket, and a badge.
Oh, one of those things. Thank you, Netflix, for sending us goodies. No, but like I'm still upset that I don't have a new Game of Thrones book. I'm like, fuck you, George R.R. Martin. Stop counting your money and finish writing that book. And meanwhile, this doesn't inspire that kind of love, and I'm not sure why, because it has all of the elements that should.
Yeah.
So I can't put my finger on it, but I go back to the fact it is incredibly well made.
Yeah.
Like all of the money is on screen, all of the performances are really good, and Henry Cavill is fucking great. So. Yeah.
And I like the fact that like they didn't bring Jaskier out straight away, and when he turns up, it's great.
Initially, I was just like, "Come on, where's the bard? I need the bard."
I need to know why everyone in every article I ever read for years called him Dandelion, because that hasn't come up yet.
Oh no, it hasn't, right? Yeah.
In the game, he's called Dandelion. I didn't know his name was Jaskier.
Oh.
Yeah, I
and also, where's Zoltan? I mean, obviously they haven't. There's no dwarves yet. There was some dwarves in the first season, I think, wasn't there, when they did the dragon hunt?
Yes.
Yeah. But they've talked about dwarves and elves and all the others, but they haven't really introduced many of them to the world as yet. However, there's 2 more spin-offs. There's a Michelle Yeoh spin-off, and then there's another spin-off that's centered on the kids and the training, I think.
Yes.
Hogwarts.
Wow, and you know what? kids dying, that's definitely going to work, man.
Yeah,
That's always
imagine
good. It's
Harry
always good.
Potter with some actual stakes, apart from the school trying to kill them all the
Exactly.
fucking time. That was ridiculous. Health and safety would have had a field day with that place.
All right. The Witcher season 2 drops. Actually, if you're listening to this on the podcast, The Witcher season 2 is now available to watch on Netflix. If you're watching this live, it drops tomorrow at 4 p.m. in Malaysia. So check it out. Are you a fan of The Witcher season 1? Did you catch the anime? Let us know your thoughts. You know how to reach out to us. You can get in touch on all of our social media feeds, Goggler MY. You can also email us on podcast@goggler.my or WhatsApp us at the Goggler hotline, 012-524-5208. We're going to get to our big movie release of the week, which is Spider-Man No Way Home. This one's been delayed for, I think it was supposed to come out mid of last year, but due to the pandemic, 18 months on, we finally got to see this film. This was, if I'm not mistaken, this was supposed to be the second movie in Phase 4 after Black Widow.
Oh,
So
okay.
that was the original release date, which means it would have come out originally before Loki
And before Shang-Chi,
and before Shang-Chi.
which would make more sense of Benedict Wong's appearance in that movie.
Exactly. That's true. Because he was just kind of jumping around in that film.
And you're like, where's Strange? And now we know.
But also, it makes sense why, and I think, and yet again, when we watched even the trailer for this, we were like, oh, are they going to be tying in Loki and everything we learned from Loki? But no, it feels like two very separate storylines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think basically, I think at this point now, we just have to get on board with the idea that they're taking their own sweet time, and the most obvious route, especially when we watch it, we'll talk about probably later, but the way the trailers for this movie portray things that are happening, although they actually happen in the movie, they're so much smarter than any of us.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like
of
you would
course.
obviously think, oh, there's a multiverse involved. Kang must turn up in like the second act, and then there's other. No. They're so much smarter than that, and there's probably going to be something in another movie where you don't expect it, and it's going to be a slap in the face. It's like, holy shit! I'd already given up on
Yeah.
this theory 6 months ago.
No, but also I think that really works for me because I think just last week I got on my high horse about
High house.
serialized
Get on your roof.
high horse, yeah. I got on my high horse about serialized movies, like constantly keeping you on the hook and not giving you any resolution to things. And I think I'm glad this wasn't like, it's just directly tied into Kang and Loki and WandaVision.
Right.
No, this movie for the most part, despite its connections to other films in the MCU, felt like a nice, solid standalone piece. Right? I mean,
Yeah.
I finally got my Spider-Man movie. Like, and I say that because in the first Tom Holland film was all about him coming out of Civil War and then going, oh my God, I can be like a real hero now. And then Tony Stark teaching him.
Oh my
things.
God, Mr. Stark!
Oh, Mr. Stark!
Yeah.
Get me some oxy for all these pimples. And then the second movie was essentially just coping with the death of Tony Stark.
Yeah.
And yet again, sure, I got Peter Parker in high school, hijinks, blah blah blah. But no, this one for me felt like a real Spider-Man movie. Like it addressed all of the trauma and the tragedy of what it means to be fucking Spider-Man. Because no matter which arc of Spider-Man you read in the comics, it's always fucking depressing, man.
Yeah.
And when you've grown up reading that stuff, it's like everything is guilt-laden for this one fucker.
Oh yeah, it ain't. I mean, that's the whole point. It's not.
Yeah.
Superman's got it fucking easy.
Yeah.
Exactly. And also, you know what? Bruce Wayne was a little kid. He could not have saved his parents.
Yeah.
This guy could have saved Uncle Ben.
Also,
he could have, and he didn't.
Also, you know that, like, unless Alfred was being a dick, Bruce Wayne has every set of Lego. Every single one.
Exactly.
Peter Parker has trouble putting together enough money for a sandwich.
He has nothing.
Yeah.
And I thought this movie captured the spirit of the character really, really well. So from the get-go, like, all you need to know about this film really is that it picks up immediately after the post-credit sequence of the last film, when Mysterio reveals via J. Jonah Jameson who Spider-Man is.
Who is
Who is?
J.K. Simmons. Yeah, J.K. Simmons is great, and he rocking the bald paint. It's great. Doesn't need that. He doesn't need the flat top. It still works.
No, he doesn't need the flat top. No. And J.K. Simmons is absolutely fantastic. And I think that's all you need to know about this movie going in. And you know that revelation is going to throw his world into chaos.
Yeah.
And in typical Peter Parker fashion, even if you read, and this is the thing, right? irrespective of which issue of Spider-Man you pick up, whether it's from 1964 or 2021, there is bound to be at least one panel in which Peter Parker goes, "Being Spider-Man's taken its toll on the people I love."
It's hard being Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that's essentially what anchors this entire film. And he needs
Yeah.
to cope. And I think in one of the trailers, Strange says it as well. It's the duality of who you're trying to be. You're trying to be two people. That's the fucking problem, bro.
Yeah. And the
Yeah.
trailer leads us down a certain path in my mind that didn't happen either. It was like, okay, it was a line that was taken from somewhere else. It was like, smart.
Right? The trailers are fucking cunning, man. It really does not. It isn't the movie you thought. You were
And
gonna
they get us every fucking time.
Every
They did this.
time.
Was it Endgame or was it Infinity War or was it any of the Captain Americas? They've done it numerous times
Yeah.
to us at this point, and
Yeah.
every time, like a rube, we're just like, what? And we go over here, and it's right over there.
No, but you know what? I'd much rather that than
Fuck
than
yes.
a trailer that will. That
But
will
the thing
tell me
is,
entire-
the point
You know
is,
what I mean?
yeah, no, I mean, that's the point. This movie is a delight, and that's the point is
Yeah.
that they don't have to do that. They could have given us the movie in our head, which would have probably been shite, and we would have eaten it like, you know, kids eating their leftover Halloween candy before it expires. We would have just shoveled that shit up and been like
Yeah.
happy as pigs and shit. But they went so far beyond.
Yeah. No.
They
Yeah.
did.
Absolutely. Yeah. I
It's
mean,
like they
I
reached into my head, they pulled out the best version of this movie, and then in my mind, and then they threw that away. They threw it in the trash.
Yeah. Because
I made a better
we
one.
don't know what the fuck we want, right?
Yeah, no one knows what they want. Like I was thinking about this. Do you remember Brotherdo from Amelie?
Yes.
You ever seen Amelie by here?
No.
The Audrey Tautou movie.
Didn't get around to it.
There's a character in that who gets a toy that he hid in a house when he was a child, and like 40 years later, it appears on a stall beside him, thanks to the person who the movie's named after.
Sure.
And the look on his face as he opens this thing from his youth and sees all these different things that he'd forgotten about and the emotions he has at the time and the attachments he has, that
Yeah.
was me watching this movie. I was dehydrated after this movie because I was weeping openly throughout the whole. I was like, you made me get a good 20, 30 minutes before. It's just like, oh God, here we go.
Here we go. Yeah, I was crying out of joy. I was crying out of heartbreak. I got a text message from a friend of mine last night who watched it, and she just went, "I've cried so hard, I've given myself a headache."
Yeah.
That's hardcore.
And so much of it was tears of, oh, what are they doing? I can't believe they're doing that. It's just like, and then we can't. Again, this is the challenge. This is the challenge of the Spider Friends, is how to do this without giving away things. They do it to tell a story that, like, every moment almost every line out of certain characters' mouths near the end of it is literally they're playing. It's like they've got a piano made out of your emotional beats in the last 20 fucking years, and they're playing us.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And very similar to what the Russo brothers did with Endgame, right? In the sense that they had crafted, I guess, everything or every emotional beat in that film based around the fact that you had spent the last 10 years, decade, watching 23 movies and have all of these cultural checkpoints embedded in your brain, and then they were just working it little by little. You know, when Joss Whedon had that cute little after party scene when everyone's trying to lift the hammer, what's going on, and Captain America budges it a little bit, and then you get that catharsis at the end of Endgame.
Yeah.
That said, I think this movie had more moments like that.
Yeah, I mean, we talked before. I think we talked after the movie, and we talked, I think, before about the difference between a press screening audience and a live audience.
Yeah.
But I think I did see Endgame again in the cinema with a live audience, and it was like that shaky video that's out there of like when the hammer comes back to Cap, and people. I mean, America, they whoop and holler at all sorts of shit anyway. But Malaysia, people were cheering at that and clapping.
Yeah.
Our screening,
And,
there was a lot more people in it than usual, but there was about 5 more moments of that one moment.
Yes.
Like that, I think in the public screening there was that one moment got the like woohoo kind of effect in Endgame, whereas in this they were all getting it. It was all hitting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Breathe.
Which is very tiring after being crying for an hour. It's like,
I mean, I hooped and hollered in this movie more than I have in any other movie I've seen, I think.
and we got the nice seats thanks to Disney, but it was also like, you know, we couldn't see each other because of the screens.
Yeah.
But you can always tell Bear's invested when he leans forward. It's either he's invested or it's a long movie. I haven't figured out yet which it is.
You can tell by his invested when he leans past and starts hitting me. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Leave me alone.
I was socially distant on the other side.
Yeah, you were socially distant on the other side. But I think I just think that this movie is a fucking ride, you know. I think there's a
Actually, hold that thought. Can I just tell you something quickly? And we were driving to the cinema together, and in the car, just to embarrass Bahir a little, he's like, you know, I don't know if I'm excited about this.
You rube, you fool!
Bahir's like, I'm looking forward to it, but I'm not sure.
You got owned by this picture. This picture was like Big Worm in Friday. He was like at the end of this movie standing over your corpse saying, "You got knocked the fuck out."
No, but and look, I'm not saying, I just wasn't into the hype, right? There was this massive hype running into this film about you know, I mean, the screening was at 2:00. There's an international embargo on this thing.
Yep.
And that's normally the kind of
no digital devices. You always most of that.
No digital devices.
I can't remember the last movie we couldn't bring our phones into. What was that?
And it was always
Star Wars?
Always a Disney
something
thing.
like that. It's always a Disney thing,
It's almost always a Disney
some
thing.
kind of big franchise film.
It hasn't been for a while because it was such a pain in the ass.
Yeah. But no, and I think it was just that I was looking forward to it, but I wasn't losing sleep the night before, so excited for it, right? But
because you're professional.
Sure, but also I think also because is it because I avoided the trailers? I don't know if it was. I just think I was. It's December. I've watched a lot of movies this year, and I'm just
before
cool.
your annual defrag your hard drive and you wipe the whole year from your memory.
Pretty much,
basically sitting there with his arms crossed, going, "Impress me, Sony."
Yeah. No, but it's not even that, right? I wasn't being cocky. I was like, I was looking forward to it.
Yeah.
But I wasn't into the hype. I wasn't ready to buy all the toys.
You weren't expecting it to be better than Endgame.
Yeah, no, completely. I wanted to stand up at the end and do a standing ovation. That movie just blew me away, and I think it was the.
You wanted to, but you didn't. That's the thing. That's going to be.
I did
you?
A little bit.
He did a little bit at the end.
I did a little.
I refuse to clap. I'm not that person. I will not clap in the cinema.
I just think no, because like for me that movie was, it didn't. None of those moments that we're hooping and hollering at felt like it didn't feel like a marketing beat. It didn't feel like okay, we must do a big thing here, we must do a big thing here, we must do a big thing here. The other thing I was talking to Uma about on the drive home was that the movie also didn't feel like a 3-act structure movie. It felt like a 5-act structure movie, you know, because you're inciting incidents happening in the weird places. Your
inciting incident for the beginning happens in the before the movie starts, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So,
but also there's another inciting incident that happens after 25 minutes, where you've set up. This is the impact of that, and now this is going to impact something else, and then Strange isn't as big a fucking moron as he seems in the trailers. It's like, he's like, well, let's not do that then. That would be a bad idea. However, might be something else.
Yeah. But I think and I think that I appreciate that. It's not just a setup and a payoff. The reason for those things happening were completely natural to the story that they were telling. It's not a cash grab for more toys, you know?
Yeah.
They're not pulling together these villains that you've seen before with the actors that you've seen before just so they can resell those toys. There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
But they also know, and this is where I felt the pacing was incredible, right? First of all, it was a rude shock, or it felt rather like incredibly refreshing after Black Widow, Shang-Chi, and Eternals, all of which followed a very traditional templated 3-act structure, right?
Yeah.
You knew
almost
exactly
to a fault, right?
Almost to a fault, right? Because the third act was always a massive CGI fight in all three of those films. In Spider-Man: No Way Home, it feels like they've borrowed a little more of the storytelling techniques from Civil War, which kind of broke that up. You know, you had your airport fight in the middle, and then you had like this emotional resolution. There was still a fight, but it was very rooted in emotional bromance gone bad kind of action. And it kind of builds on that. But also, I think with No Way Home, there is something about the narrative structure in which a lot of the moments that were earned, a lot of the moments felt earned. So a lot of the emotional beats felt earned, because when I say this was my first Spider-Man movie in the MCU, I mean that in many ways this movie feels like an origin story of sorts, but it doesn't
Yes.
fall back on the same traditional origin story style.
Yeah.
The origin bit kind of happens halfway through the film, right?
Yes.
He's already Spider-Man. Now he's just got to learn the hard way what it means to be Spider-Man.
Yes.
And
He's already Spider-Man from some of the later comics, but he hasn't gone through some of the stuff from the early comics.
Yeah.
Correct.
And I think
that felt refreshing for me. Yeah.
But based on the adventures that we've seen him do, he isn't cocky Spider-Man either, right? He's not I fought Thanos. You know, I've saved half the universe, right?
There's a character who says repeatedly, "I keep forgetting you're a kid."
Yeah, you know, and
Exactly.
I think that's kind of the point, right?
And there's a great moment in which, like, all of that is kind of emphasized in the story, right? Because he doesn't realize when he gets rejected from college that he can call and appeal.
Yes.
Because he's fucking 17. Like he
Yeah.
just reads the letter and it's like, oh, I'm depressed about this.
Oh.
Yeah.
I know I really enjoyed all of those beats, and I felt they were very, very cunning, and I thought John Watts did a very good job. Like when I in my review, I kind of compare him to the Russo brothers, just because I think the Russo brothers are very deft at handling a pop culture film, which was the problem I had with Chloe Zhao. And I remember talking about this with you guys. I don't know if it was on the podcast or just offline, when I was like, oh, I don't know, you need a certain amount of pop culture sensibility to be able to pull something like this off. It's like when you see Spielberg do West Side Story, and you see, like, there's a sensibility to his approach, right?
Yes.
And it's the same with the Russo brothers. Heck, you saw them when they were directing episodes of Community, how they would bring all of that into...
I wonder, I mean, that's a cast aspersions against Chloe Zhao, or who directed Black Widow?
Kate Shorthand.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's like, Shortland, sorry. From Community, there's a boldness to what they did in that, to the Winter Soldier, which is just like, I think it's still, there's so many moments in that stand out as amazing. Like, there's moments in that, I think Captain America Winter Soldier is better than Shang-Chi. There, I said it. It is. Right?
Yeah.
But there's that level of, this seems like, as much as we've heard stories about directors having been, not wanting to do a Marvel movie because they were told they couldn't direct the action, and they had a certain team doing certain things, Shang-Chi and Black Widow didn't feel, and Eternals doesn't feel of a piece with this. This feels like of a piece with Infinity War, right? This really feels like it's the same level of scale, of emotional storytelling, of things that are going on, of score, of, the effects even, like there is a big CGI fight at the end, some of which looks a bit crap, but obviously maybe the reason why the Shang-Chi's big CGI ending didn't look so good is because everyone was working on this.
Right, yeah.
But it just feels of the same level. And there's a point where you can't do that level. You can only do that level in the third movie if you're going forward. Maybe Marvel movies needs to be the third movie is where you take it to this level, and you do it with the same director who's done all three movies, because Homecoming, there's moments in Homecoming that give me complete chills, but they're in the back of a car.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's built to this over time. And then we get to the psychic fucking climbing ropes that are there from previous. Like, we're climbing this movie, but we're actually only climbing from 85,000 feet to 95,000 feet because the previous ones are there. We didn't realize we've been teleported halfway up a mountain, and then when we look down and we realize that these other things have happened. This is the metaphor I'm going with for explaining the spoilers to this thing. I think the Velcro one I tried on the day didn't work. It is like, oh my god, look down and you see, oh, there's the thing from that thing, and oh Jesus, and you asked me, and I was like, you said to me something about, oh, did you see that piece of music? And I was like, how could I not?
Yeah.
Like, how would anyone? Maybe some people would just say, like, I felt this feeling tied to this thing, but it's like, no, but that maybe again, I have certain movies on DVD that maybe it's more impactful for me. But I was like, no, I hum that music in the shower to this day.
Yeah.
So the moment I heard that, I was like, well, now I'm crying again. And it's a good scene. It's just the people talking in a scene, and there's nothing major happening. No one's dying, and I'm just bawling.
No, and I think that's his genius, right? I think he uses all of those visual cues, or what has become the language of cinema that we've grown up with, and he's kind of mined it for something, so that every time we see those bits again,
Yeah.
it kind of triggers us emotionally. It doesn't feel manipulative in any way, right?
Yes.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
It's not.
It doesn't feel. Yeah.
It's not the way they use the fucking Hans Zimmer Wonder Woman theme to like
Yes.
trigger you into thinking a cool move.
In Batman vs Superman.
In Batman vs Superman.
Yeah, that specific instance of it, and then when they never really used that theme in the second movie of Wonder Woman, right? They didn't use it at all. It turned up once, did it? Or they didn't use it for her one scene where she's like, it's like, oh, she's flying now. This is. I'm looking forward to the theme. What's this shit?
Sure.
What the fuck is this? This is not it.
Yeah. So, and it is manipulative in that way, and I think I really admire his restraint in doing that. Like, man, this was a great fucking film. Like, oof, as far as cinema, as far as popcorn blockbusters go, damn, he nailed it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think a big part of that is there's 25,000 movies later. I always go into these movies into like a big superhero blockbuster movies. I wouldn't say expecting the worst, but expecting a basic, expecting a bar that I know everybody's going to hit, right? Black Widow hit that bar comfortably. Shang-Chi hit that bar.
Yeah.
You know, it's fine. You know, it didn't make me angry the way Justice League or most of DC movies do. But this one did more than just pass the bar. It was, again, the emotional beats were not emotional beats. They were natural to the story that they were telling. It came up naturally, and I think that's why we feel the way we do when those moments come up.
Because I think there are a handful of directors in the MCU kind of stable that seem to have. There's a template, right? We can't run away from the fact there's an MCU style, there's an MCU template, there must be a guidebook somewhere. Movies like Black Widow and Shang-Chi, and even Eternals to a certain extent, follow that to a T. And we've always said this, there's very little you can criticize with regards to production or acting or any of that stuff. They kind of they always exceed that. Like sometimes the CGI can be a bit janky, but okay, fine. But I think what great directors like the Russos do and what John Watts has done with this is he uses the template and then he kind of elevates it by pushing it. Like, so the next person now is going to be like, that thing Watts did in Spider-Man, that's become part of the language of the MCU.
Yes.
Now it's got to be, you got to have Bucky flick a knife. You got to, what's your Bucky?
Exactly.
That's something that, like, you don't need, you just need, what's his name? I forgot the actor's name. I'm blanking. You just need him to learn how to fucking do Sebastian Stan. You just got to learn you got to teach him how to do that knife flick while fighting Chris Evans and not stab Chris Evans in the face, because that'd be bad. But that's a moment from that movie that relies on maybe no CGI, maybe it's all CGI. I don't know. But that's a moment that when people say, "What's your favorite moment from a Marvel movie?" That's the one. There's moments from this where it is just like people talking in a room. There's moments from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse where it's just Spider-Man Noir talking about it, puzzling over a Rubik's Cube. Right?
Yeah.
It's those moments that they're submerged in character that we know from things that even if they've never happened before, they feel right. And everything that we cannot talk about here, because we do not want to be assholes, feels so right.
And I think for me, my favorite moment from this movie is an unexpected moment, because it's not a big knife flick, but for me, it's a moment that's going to set up Spider-Man 4, or not even Spider-Man 4, but it's going to set up the next Tom Holland movies.
Which you know there's supposed to be more, right?
Yeah. So
apparently
that moment for me, that moment for me is my favorite moment because it gives Tom Holland's Spider-Man something to look forward to in the next one. It's not just a new suit. You know what I mean?
Oh, no, but just to go back to what you were saying, Ian, I think you're saying, yes, it's all rooted in this character and even all the stuff we're not supposed to talk about. But more importantly, Tom Holland's Spider-Man feels distinct now. Like, it feels like a new version. It feels like a version all on its own. He kind of owns the character. We've seen him ever since Civil War in the part. And so by the time this movie wraps, it feels like it's a character that's completely lived in.
It leaves it in a very interesting place.
Exactly.
Yes.
Like, this is a 3-series prequel in a way. Like
Yeah.
they've done a prequel
Yeah.
without being a prequel and without referencing other movies being a prequel.
Yeah.
Like it is a prequel
Yeah.
to what you think you know of Spider-Man, and it's a very interesting, but also like as I didn't sleep well this week, not because of this movie, I don't know why, just because of nothing. And in my darkest hours in the middle of the night, was like, in a way, this is the most cynical, creepy way to like they're setting up a very corporate thing where if Tom Holland wasn't going to do any movies, it's very easy.
It's fine.
It's super easy to do somebody else now, but we know he's involved. But also, when you look at what they did, the things that we were talking about loving are also things that someone's going to do this for Star Wars or Transformers, and it's going to be the most Lego bricks together. It's not going to say, this is like exquisite Tower of Pisa made out of Lego, right? But what someone else is going to try and do is when they do the same thing, there's going to be Duplo blocks and there's going to be...
Yeah. You're going to try build it all with Jenga.
Yeah, it's all going to be wrong. It's going to
Yeah.
everything in this sings because they're like, it's not cloying, it's not sentimental,
Yeah.
it's not...
Yes.
It just works within the story.
Absolutely.
The fact is that we're all fucking rubes and we're suckling at the teat of Marvel and we love it, means that it elevates it for us.
Yeah.
But there is going to be wait, no, Mission Impossible is Fallout. They haven't got a Marvel Fallout title yet, but there's going to be follow-up from this. We're going to get movies that try to do the same thing, and they're going to try to do the emotional Jetsons, Flintstones meeting each other, and it's just not going to be the same.
No, but and I think it's in a simpler way would be to say this is, and it's a song we've sung many times over. The reason
Wonderwall?
the first Avengers works is because we've watched the movies before that, setting up the characters.
Yeah, and
That's
we've all read the Ultimates.
Yeah, and that for me is why Justice League didn't work, because you can't come into the room saying, I'm going to start with a team up and then they all going to do their separate adventures and everybody's going to love it because everybody loves these characters.
Except the
But we
Snyder
had
Cut
no
was
idea.
good.
Yeah.
It's
But
better.
I think for me, it was just that we didn't have an emotional connection to these characters when you brought them together. Whereas the reason it worked, the reason Civil War worked was because we've gone through the ringer with Captain America. We've gone into the ice with Captain America. We've, Tony Stark's had a bad Christmas where he had to rebuild his suit in a shed somewhere. We've gone through the ringer with these characters, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what this movie is. And I think, like you said, Ian, some Warner exec's gonna watch this and go, you know what we're gonna do with the next comic book guy we try and fix? We do this one.
Yeah.
Let's do it with the Atom. It's just like, fuck off.
Yeah.
It's not gonna work. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, I'm gonna 1 hour and whatever, 2 hours and 28 minutes in, however long this movie was, I sat there thinking, all right, when am I going to watch it again?
Yeah. Also, it was actually quite nice. I because it was like no digital devices, like fine, and I also had a backpack, so just put everything in there. So I took my watch off, and it was something that in the movie we'll be talking about, one of the movies we'll be talking about next week, I was looking at because I really need to go for a pee, and I knew the movie was 2 hours long, and I forgot the trailer time that we get beforehand. This was like, wait, this hasn't shown 7 scenes from the trailer yet, and it's like there's only 15 minutes left, I think. Whereas in this, I have no concept of time. All I have is this movie, and that's great.
Yeah, that was great.
I didn't have that reminder to say I need to stand up, and I think I appreciate that. I might do that in the future from my Apple Watch.
The only reason I kept looking at my watch when in this movie was
because you can't stop. You can't stop. You just can't stop. I've seen you. You can't stop. You do it all the fucking time.
No, I always try to mark time as to when things happen because I think
I take notes as well, where it's like second act begins at 11:30 in the morning.
And
you're like, it's been an hour.
I could not tell. Like, we've seen enough movies to know almost subliminally we're in the second act now, we're in the third act now. And the pacing for this movie was really quite superb because there are things that happen throughout the film. There's this ebb and flow that happens, and I was just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What is hey? Huh? Like, I love the fact that, and we know you see from the posters, Octopus is there and all that stuff. I love the fact that when the spell
Octopus is there. That's his name now. Octopus. Seriously?
Yeah.
I can't let that one slide. Sorry, you've got like Octopus is there.
Octopus is
a
there.
famous Spider-Man villain. Octopus.
And I love the fact that
he's not going to fix it, Ian. He's not going to fix it.
They didn't do the whole thing of like, oh look, in a cafe somewhere, a portal suddenly opens and bad guys crawl out.
No.
Like, which they do at every like Pacific Rim, every single fucking film, right?
Yeah.
And they know
There's no establishing
move
shots
on.
for the crazy shit that happens here. It's just
No.
like it happens.
Yeah.
And then the best thing of all is there's no establishing shot for the bestest thing the first time it happens.
Exactly.
When they're in Lola's house,
Yes.
and the first time the guy does the thing with the thing, and it's just like,
With
hey,
the thing.
and it's like, hey, Peter, that moment,
Yeah.
and it's like, that was it's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And there's no establishing, and I think that is real confidence, right? Because that is thinking, okay, you know what? I don't need this B-roll.
No.
No, you don't need to waste
you
time on
don't,
that.
because
We've got nothing but Class A
story
drugs.
going.
Why do we need B-roll?
Exactly.
There's very little B. There's no B-roll in this movie. It's all all thriller, no filler.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go watch it. Spider-Man: No Way Home. It's in cinemas now. It's in all the fucking cinemas now.
It's in all the cinemas
You
now.
cannot walk into
For
a
all
Malaysian
the
cinema
showtimes. Yeah.
and not find a seat. I think I was looking today. Mid Valley has 89 screenings in Mid Valley alone of this movie.
Yeah.
I think Starling is not showing anything but Spider-Man
Yeah, they have a
for a
takeover.
week.
They have a takeover.
For a
yeah.
week. They
That's
just
the
cinema
thing.
takeover.
Yeah.
So yes. Also, just a reminder: go watch Private Sapu as well. We talked about last week. No, I mean, come on.
No, I mean, the thoughts that came in quick succession when I was like, I don't know, when the last ounce of water was leaving my body via my eyes is like, I wanted to say to the studio rep is like, you're going to make so much money, and then my thought directly after that is like, oh dear God, Private Sapu is like, any other date, any other date.
Any other time. Yeah.
It's just but you know what? It's the way you unwind after the high of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You may need some quiet.
Hail
time
a
and
taxi.
Private Sapu. Hail
no.
taxi. Private Sapu might do that for you.
I personally will go the other way around. I say start with Private Sapu.
Oh, start with Private Sapu. You're right.
And then go into this. Yeah.
I was so excited I couldn't sleep that night. I was just like, woo.
After watching it.
Yeah, digging up all my comics and be like, woo. Yeah.
I mean, we should say there's something we haven't talked about. We should just, for those who watched it, because I didn't realize, some people have seen the preview on Tuesday.
Because
Here.
they had the premiere screening. The
premiere
special
that night.
VIP premiere.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
friend of mine went to that. Was it a competition screening as well? Maybe, I don't know. A friend of mine
Yes,
went to
there
that. And
were
I
some
was like,
competition
oh.
screenings too. Yeah.
But the brick,
Yes.
The brick. Yeah.
the brick made me so
great.
happy.
Yeah.
Like everything leading up to the brick, everything after the brick. It's a small moment. It's again. It's like, I don't know, playing poker with someone who's dealing one card a month or something. You know what I mean? Where
Yep.
like, you know they've got you. And we've heard all the rumors, and the moment I saw it, it was like, you see redacted, and then you're like, oh, and then you see redacted's face, and you're like, huh, and then you see this thing happen, you're like, it's that what West Coast Customs meme, you know, where it's like, whoa, whoa, or the Vince McMahon freaking out in his chair.
Yeah. No, but for me,
and-
it's the moment after that. It's the look that they share, or they don't. They kind of share the look after the break. I thought that was class. I thought that was something else. Yeah.
I'm waiting for Ian to watch this week's Hawkeye as well. There are at least 3
Yes.
brick moments.
There are quite a few in there. Yeah.
At least 3 where I was just like, oh.
Oh.
I was like,
Yeah.
but also I was like, very clever. You
So it
fucking
feels-
cunning bastard.
But
Yeah.
it feels weird then. Was it just the pandemic that maybe set things off? Because when I think of Shang-Chi, yes, I think of that cool thread on Twitter of the bus driver who said cool things about the actual bus driver fight. But the fight at the end I didn't enjoy the fight at the end. I felt like this felt like
It was
early Marvel
every
not knowing
CGI
what it was
flight
doing.
in
Yeah.
every- yeah.
And Black Widow's like, I love Yelena, I love Vest origins, I love finding out where the vest came from, but like other parts of it were not so much.
Yeah.
They
but
were
it's like,
vulnerable.
no,
think
and but
that's
this
the-
is like, and Eternals as well. It's like Eternals is like, I don't think I've thought about Eternals. I thought I was listening to a podcast about Eternals. I listened to a podcast about Eternals this week. I've forgotten about the podcast talking about Eternals already.
I
know what I mean?
can't name all 10 characters.
All right, here we go.
I could after a while.
All right, we got Ikaris, the Carrie, we got Gilgamesh, we got Tina,
Cersei,
Cersei.
Tina, yeah.
Careful now, you said Tina. I've already said Tina, so we got that's 4, right? We've got Sprite,
Droog.
Druig, favorite ancient Irish guy.
Kingo.
Kingo! There you go. See Kingo, right? What's after Kingo? What comes after Kingo?
Who else is left?
Gilgamesh. Have we mentioned Gilgamesh?
You did.
Yes, you have.
I did
You
mention
did.
Gilgamesh. Shit.
Makari?
Oh,
Mikari?
I mean,
Makari.
Macari. Yeah, okay, Macari.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Macari, got him a system.
Yeah.
Curly Wurly, Liz Hurley, got him a system.
Who else is left?
Who else dies?
There's 2 more.
2 more.
2? Is it
There were
2?
10, right?
And there's 10 on the poster, right?
Oh, wait.
Salma Hayek.
What is Salma Hayek's character called?
Alice? I don't know, I forgot her name. Okay.
Frida.
Jim.
No, wrong
Oh.
movie.
Shit.
She's male in the comic books. Oh, the character is male in the comic books, and I can't remember now. But yeah, you see what
Lars,
I mean?
Alan.
Yeah,
No,
I don't
it's
Bob
Bob.
Jones.
Okay, that still leaves one more. Who's the last one we're missing? The ship.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, you got a point.
Oh no, wait, he's the engineer guy with the gay husband.
Alan. I can't remember his name.
Forge. No, Forge.
No, Forge is X-Men, dude.
Fastos.
Bastos.
Bastos!
Thank you. That took us ages.
Okay, this is gonna be on a pop quiz somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
that
you
that
see
was
what I
almost as
mean?
hard
Like,
as naming
it's
all
the-
5 members of
yeah.
Boyzone. Ugh.
But I don't know, and I think that's why it goes back to just the lack of memorable moments or key moments that make you whoop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is what you want from a popcorn flick, right? I'm
Well,
not
and
expecting
that was
when
Shang-Chi
I'm
as well.
watching-
When the
Yeah.
Shang-Chi, when the big thing happened, it's like, why isn't the score kicking my balls right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas in
Oh,
this,
I loved Giacchino's score for this. This was very
Yeah.
well, there was that, but there was callbacks to things where, like we said earlier, and it was just like,
Recognizable things. Yeah.
I was, my balls were getting picked by the memories of the last time my balls got kicked that hard, and it was
Was it
was
tickling your
exquisite.
balls? Or was it tickling your balls?
it was both at the same time.
I think I'm done. I'm ready to move on.
You done with this
You
metaphor?
know, no, one more. You got to put in the poster. It was a testicular delight.
Okay, I let you have that one. I'll let
Yeah.
you have that one.
And
Yeah.
we're out.
And scene. But also, we need to have, now that we've had this, right? So there's a bold new direction for the MCU. We know
Yep.
we know what movies are coming, but can we get Flash Thompson in more things?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
He's
He
not
was
in this movie enough.
super douchey, but every time he did turn up, and it was great. And I also love that, like, because of Eternals, we now know the DC universe exists in the Marvel universe. So the
Yes.
fact that his book is called Flashpoint is
It's
just got to be.
genius.
That was the best.
Oh,
That was the best.
and we also have to say, if you haven't seen the movie and you are going and you do have a weak bladder, don't drink. There are 2.
Yes.
There's a mid-credits, post-credits scene.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that, again, it's weird. People do leave. We did see people rush off, right?
I think they
Even
rushed up to the
at a
toilet
press
and they came back.
screening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But
I
yeah,
think they came back, yeah.
there's a mid credits and a post credits scene. Both are pretty fantastic.
Yes.
And
Still hasn't
both
it
set
still
up-
hasn't
I
popped.
thought
It still hasn't
I
popped
thought
what
the
that is,
press-
right? That hasn't been spoiled yet. Spoiled yet? Has
No.
it?
I don't think
No,
so.
no, I haven't seen anything on the internet.
Well, I saw somebody mention the bartender's name. Well, the bartender's other role.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
But the
Which
other
I think-
one is what I'm talking about.
The
No,
other one
hasn't.
hasn't been known.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. So
I don't know. I think I'll be honest. I wouldn't say I didn't like the mid credit one. I thought it was a cop out.
Yeah. Based upon what we
Yeah.
saw from before, I agree with you 100% on that. What we saw from before was like, wow, this sets
I
up
feel
a
like
really,
I feel like it's an intentional cop out.
yeah. No,
Yeah,
it
which
is.
I feel
I feel
which is-
it's
which-
just like
which I
what
feel
you were
is
saying
unnecessary.
earlier, Ian, about leaving the door open in case Tom Holland doesn't want to do anymore.
Yeah.
This one was just a
Slamming the door shut and rolling a
open.
piano up
Yeah.
against it and ignoring when anyone asks, wasn't there a door there? Nope, there was never a door there. Nope, never. Nope, no.
Painted
no,
over
no.
it. His wallpaper. It's done. Moving along.
It's also like, I mean, we talked, I think you said after the movie, like, Amy Pascal's a genius or whatever. It's like, well, the producers, it's like, how about we do this thing where we get together? I don't know how much of it is like from there it goes on. The same with Kevin Feige. We don't know how much is that is him, how much is that with Watts, how much is that with whatever.
Yeah,
but
we don't.
this is very much, I don't know, the first credit sequence is very much like, yeah, we don't think this is going to, that's why I think maybe I started to revise my Amy Pascal thing, which is like, this isn't going to work on a legal level, on a contractual level, on any level. So let's just do this thing. You can do your own thing, but we're gonna do our own dumb thing over here because there's a trailer. There's another trailer for another Sony movie where a character says, "I'm a character," right?
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is what see him. You go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a jokey thing at the end of the trailer, and every time I see it, I want to punch the projectionist in the face just for showing that shite. And it's like the Sony universe is very different. Is they are already planning for it to be separate from the MCU, and it's like, we get you like money, but you're gonna get another 2 movies maybe.
Yeah.
Before you just need to say, let's just sign a permanent. Let's just get Marvel, Sony. Do you take this man to be your lawfully wedded movie partner for the rest of your days? Because if you don't, you're going to make progressively more shit movies.
You think they would have learned after the success of these 3 movies that this kind of collaboration seems to be working?
No, because everyone learns. Everyone from these things learns. Wasn't there negotiations after the first?
Yeah, there was.
There's like, oh no, this made so much money because of me.
Yeah.
Because I'm a genius for doing this. So therefore, if I did it on my own,
they got cocky after Spider-Verse because they thought, oh, we did this on our own without Marvel's help.
Yeah.
Look, maybe we're good.
It had nothing to do with Lord and Miller and the writers and the animators on that team. I saw a tweet today. Didn't see the whole thing, who it was by, but it was basically saying Spider-Verse, Mitchells and Machines, Arcane, I can't remember what the other one was. And it was basically, these things haven't come out of nowhere. People have been working on these concepts and these ideas for a long time.
For ages.
Yeah. So for the guy who, got the job 3 weeks ago and is now responsible when a movie that comes out is amazing, goes like, it's all me, baby. He's going to make some bad decisions.
I mean, it's Hollywood, right? It's been like that since the dawn of Hollywood.
And it's amazing. And to come back to what we said earlier, it's amazing. Marvel hasn't managed to not only trip over its shoelaces, but eat its own shoes and fall just be.
Well, to be fair, they were very close, right? I mean, when the success started happening, Perlmutter wanted his own say, and he started getting in.
Who didn't? Oh, Perlmutter. Yeah.
Yeah, and he started getting in Kevin Feige's way, and I think Bob Iger stepped in and basically said, "No, you hold up, buddy. We're letting Feige do his thing." And I think it's very rare that those instances happen. And even Feige had to fight the fight, right? I mean, getting Robert Downey Jr. cast as Iron Man was a struggle. Getting Favreau to direct probably was a struggle. I think they were all they had to put all these, they had to push all these ideas through, and it's only when they started making the 500 millions and the 600 millions that people went, okay.
And I think pretty much
you're only as good as your last movie, right? Yeah.
Not only that, but I think at this point, Marvel is being run as its own studio. I think Marvel is its own studio. Right? They don't have to run past Disney anymore. It's just hey, Disney, I'm
make these toys. Make these toys now.
But it's also just like Kevin Feige is he's got his own ATM card and
he's got his own black Amex. He's like
he's got the Amex that is the same, is the only color that rich people can see.
I mean when when the bill comes in at the end of the month, Disney just goes, it's fine, we'll cover it. Kevin Feige is just running Marvel now. I think Perlmutter has got nothing. I mean, is he out? He's out, right? Is Perlmutter out?
I can't remember now. Yeah,
I can't remember. And I think that's fine. I think Feige has proven himself multiple times over, so it's several lifetimes over. So I think
so Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is next. I think
is that officially next? What is?
Yes,
is that
I think
officially
that was pushed,
the next MCU content?
Yes, I think that was pushed from February to March, if I'm not mistaken, 2022. So that's the next big movie we're getting. I don't know if we're getting a series beforehand. I'm not sure if we're getting a series beforehand.
This is Phase 4, right?
Stuff. Yes, Phase 4. There's a bunch of stuff that's in the pipeline. Moon Knight, She-Hulk. I don't know which one's coming first.
Moon Knight, and then Ms. Marvel as well.
Ms. Marvel as well. But Ms. Marvel was a lot further along into production than Moon Knight and She-Hulk. So I think Ms. Marvel might be done. I don't know if that's coming first. So I guess that we'll find out after Hawkeye ends, because that's when they usually announce their next series.
Moon Knight's after Hawkeye. Doesn't say a date on this. I had it. There's a good page, but it formats weird on phone, whereas it lists them all in order normally. But Doctor Strange is after Spider-Man, and Thor: Love and Thunder's after that. So
right.
Yeah.
I don't want to see this happen.
So yeah, we've got a bunch of stuff coming.
May 6th, 2022 is Multiverse.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. So it was pushed from February all the way to May. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
and 1 second,
Okay.
I'll find out when Moon Knight is, because stop auto playing video, covering everything. I just want to see the data. Moon Knight is, our survey says, 2022.
Okay. I think Miss Marvel might be first, actually,
Really?
because that was supposed to be initially, they said fall of 2021.
Right.
Miss
But
Marvel's
I
after
think that was
She-Hulk on this list. WandaVision,
Oh,
Falcon,
really?
Winter Soldier, Loki, What If, Hawkeye, Moon Knight, She-Hulk. Miss Marvel, Secret
Oh.
Invasion.
Okay.
Okay.
Huh.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah, and it has
alright,
dates,
but
it's
yeah.
just lots of scrolling.
There's
I mean, I'm game. Yeah.
yeah, there's more than
Oh, you're
one project
game. You're
coming your way.
game for this movie
game.
that emotionally destroyed you, and
No, no. I'm no. I mean, I'm game for everything that Marvel's gonna
Yeah.
come up with. I
Yeah.
think that they've proven it, right?
yeah,
Even
you
though,
might.
yeah,
Were you wobbling for Black Widow and
I was wobbling from Eternals.
yeah,
yeah, I was wobbling after Black Widow. Black Widow sort of, yeah. I think Shang-Chi was, it was fine. I enjoyed Eternals, but this one sort of, and I hate to say it because this one isn't really. I mean, it's that thing. Sony would like us to say that this isn't really a Marvel production. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like,
But it's
at
that
the
Marvel
same time,
sauce that makes the burger so delicious.
It's that Marvel sauce. Yeah,
Correct.
absolutely. Yeah,
Correct.
it's like Kevin Feige sauce. Yeah.
So
And some of those elements that make it so
Kevin
good are
Feige
Sony
sauce.
elements. Like it is
Sorry,
Kevin,
yeah.
Kevin sauce. Yeah, we all love Kevin sauce. Give it to us. We eat it all up.
Give it to me. Yeah.
Ah. all right, go watch Spider-Man: No Way Home. Watch it early, watch it often, so you don't get spoiled. And also don't be an asshole and spoil it for others.
When's
It
it
is
hit
so-
Disney Plus? Because I need to take some time off.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it only hits. I mean, Eternals only hits in January, so it'll probably be
January.
after that. So yeah.
I'll be
This one's going to have a long cinematic run in the US, I'm sure. So
Yeah.
gonna make so much money, so much money.
Yeah.
All right, check it out. Let us know what you think about the film. Reach out on all of our social media pages, Goggler MY, also podcast at goggler.my. Don't forget you can WhatsApp us on 012-524-5208. That is the Goggler hotline. We will get back to you then about that. In the meantime, keep watching movies, keep talking to us, keep chilling out. You've been listening to the Goggler podcast.